If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I just felt like if I'm Gracie, maybe I have a different reaction to learning that everybody has lied to me my whole life.
Correct.
And I have a different father who's this man named Brian who just showed up today, and I'm a 13-year-old girl. I'm going through a lot of emotions, and this man's just standing at a window while I'm dancing, and that's my father, and I'm just learning right now.
I was not saying it was accurate. I was not saying it was an accurate description of what actually would happen.
Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You're here, you found us, you're listening to us. You probably love romantic comedies, which is great news because we do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have Aloha! And the biggest way that you can help support the pod, if you're listening and if you like what you're hearing, is throw us a follow on Instagram at Romcom Rewind, or leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to us. Both of these things help more people find us, and we always love to engage and chat with you.
We have a message from Claire. This is actually off of something that we chatted about last podcast. Devin's, what is it? Reenacting old rom-coms into like new versions of them.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. So Claire said, love Devin's Notting Hill sequel, but you'd have to account for the fact that Anna Scott was pregnant at the end of the original movie with Will Thacker's child.
Yeah, that's some creative license that we would just whisk away into the nether realms.
She did say it would be interesting for him to go looking for his dad's old flame and find her and his half-brother.
Oh, that's better. Never mind. We leave that in, Claire. We leave that in.
Hot take. Yep. I like it.
I do like it. That's good. That's good.
I know. Thank you, Claire.
Aloha is a 2015 rom-com directed by Cameron Crowe. We watched this on Netflix. It's the story of military contractor Brian Gilchrist, played by Bradley Cooper. After a freak accident in Afghanistan, and as well, he has a history in the armed forces, Brian nabs a job with former employer Carson Welch. Carson also employed him back in Afghanistan, but Carson Welch, played by Bill Murray. Brian accompanies him on a land deal to launch a satellite from Hawaii. That's kind of the setting of our story. Brian has some history here, though. History in an ex, Tracy, played by Rachel McAdams. Her now husband, Woody, played by John Krasinski. We learn, and I'm not going to tell you too much about it right now, but there was a little bit of maybe a gray zone between those two relationships for Tracy. So those two know each other. His former military companions, Fingers, played by Danny McBride, is here. Also General Dixon, played by Alec Baldwin. And through his time in Hawaii, working with Carson Welch alongside the military, he's also shadowed by Allison Ng, played by Emma Stone. Brian has to contend with his past, reconcile with some of the mistakes he's made, and perhaps find some love along the way somewhere. That's your lead-in for Aloha.
You can't let one small meltdown destroy me.
A second chance? Who doesn't want a second chance? Your old boss wants you back. It's Hawaii, our old stomping ground.
Aloha.
Gilchrist, you're back in the game.
I want to introduce you to your Air Force liaison. She's a fast burner.
A double espresso?
Morning, sir. I'm so jacked for today.
Make that a triple?
The old ex-girlfriend. Pause for the memories.
I don't even remember why we broke up.
Because you're a workaholic who creates work to avoid real work.
Well, I'm still working on that.
You wrecked everything, and I put my life back together in spite of you.
What are your thoughts?
This movie has a massive, and I mean massive, cast.
Yes,
but
huge.
But it is somewhat of the most random movie.
Yeah.
Plot. Like, it's literally, like, I found, like, it's a weird, good movie, but there's really nothing to it. And, like, you leave kind of like, you're like, oh, like, happy ending, great. But then you're like, what happened?
I find in this era of rom-coms, like after, like let's say like the bottom fell out on rom-coms in like the early to mid 2010s.
Yeah.
We ended up with some of these where it was just kind of like
Find yourself.
yes, and
Eat, pray, love.
It's exactly. It's almost like rom-coms themselves are trying to find themselves, so they ended up making all these very like kind of odd movies where you're like, yeah, this is like there is a plot here, there is a premise, but it kind of just plods along for a lot of it, which
It plods along. That's a great, like, I love that. I've never heard you say that, but I love it.
but like and most of the time it drives me crazy in romantic comedies. This one I actually really loved, but we've done some other ones of this era where it's like, what is happening here? Nothing's happening. I think it's just because I love Emma Stone.
I
so
think
much.
it is because you love Emma Stone. But I will say I love Rachel McAdams and John Krasinski. Bradley Cooper too. Like
Yes.
like I said, massive cast. I think the cast I think carried the movie.
Certainly.
I think I don't know. It's just an interesting take on a few things. But yeah, like it was a good movie. Again, just plodding along. I love that.
I can tell I'm gonna like this a lot more than you, and that's okay because I do see the nits that should be picked in this movie, but like I would say my best way to describe it is it felt very breezy.
Oh
It
my
felt
God,
kinda like
breezy
airy,
for sure.
you know?
Well, yeah, I mean it's in and I should actually look up where the filming of this movie was, but if it was in Hawaii, I mean
It certainly was in
it is
Hawaii. Yeah.
breezy.
I have a thing about movies shot and set in Hawaii. Yes, it
oh,
was,
okay,
first of all.
perfect, good.
But yeah, I think thematically, musically, it hits a lot of those notes. It struck a really nice chord with me. I don't know why I'm doing music puns right now. It just started to happen.
Who are you, me?
But especially like us rewatching this, you know, it's kind of dog days of summer. We're in July. It felt very right. And yeah, like, should we just acknowledge there is like a small elephant in the room?
Yeah, as soon as like, and I haven't seen this one in a while, but as soon as I rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's weird.
Yes, because it and like we're not trying to poke holes that don't need to be poked,
No.
I guess, and we're not trying to slam a movie that might be very beloved for all
It
of us.
was very criticized.
But
this
you
movie.
need to acknowledge that as much as I love Emma Stone and RCR fam, listen to the pod, she's on my Mount Rushmore of rom-com greatness. We have a character in Allison played by Emma Stone, and she talks at length throughout the movie how she is a quarter Chinese and a quarter Hawaiian, to which is inaccurate to who Emma Stone is, and that faced a lot of backlash, especially this film came out in an era where like whitewashing in Hollywood was a big topic of conversation. And this was kind of part of that conversation. I mean, Sandra Oh, a few years later,
during an awards ceremony
at the Academy, or no, it was the Golden Globes, she was hosting with Andy Samberg, and she cracked a joke about this movie alongside like
Crazy Rich Asians is nominated tonight for Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. It is the first studio film with an Asian American lead since Ghost in the Shell and Aloha.
And you can hear Emma Stone in this clip actually yell from the sidelines, because I think she was there for La La Land. She's like, I'm so sorry. Because everybody kind of acknowledged after the fact, like, yeah, that part of this movie did not land well, nor should it have, like, with how they did it. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's that, these are fictional characters that are written, and then it's casted. There is little to no excuse as to why it wouldn't have been properly casted, or written to somebody. I guess the question is, did they have Emma Stone in mind, or did they have this character written in mind? And so if it's the character written, then you should then cast it appropriately. It's an easy thing to do, and I think the writing came under fire for this movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily that's Emma Stone's fault.
She has acknowledged herself that in
yes.
retrospect she regrets it.
So I think there's just accountability to be held in some aspects. But yeah,
Can I just completely and 1,000,000% agree with you, because the director and a lot of the production staff and people like writers behind the scenes, apparently their stance was like, listen, we always wrote this character to not look like her heritage. She's a quarter Chinese and a quarter Hawaiian, but like we wrote the character
But why?
that she didn't look like that. Yeah, and you're like, this is a made up character. You can write them however you want, but like the way you wrote it has made it a problem.
Then fulfill it appropriately.
Exactly.
And
or
acknowledge appropriately.
or just have Emma Stone's character be like,
exactly.
I'm from Hawaii.
Yeah.
They don't need to have all this huge backstory that causes an issue. That's
controversy,
exactly.
which is like in this instance is warranted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, again, this is the only time we'll chat about it, but we did want to bring it up that was something that it bothered me, and I know it bothered you. And
it's funny, same as you. Like I remember, like as I was rewatching, I'm like, oh right, Sandra Oh made that joke about this movie at the awards show, and it kind of was in the zeitgeist of conversation. So that's why we bring it up. We'd be remiss if we did this pod without mentioning that. I mean, as we're gonna go through, like I thoroughly enjoy this movie, but it's kind of something I think we need to acknowledge up front.
For sure.
Let's dive in, shall we?
We meet Brian Gilchrist. He, like you said, was in the military, leaves the military, does private consulting, and is now heading back to Hawaii to do a gate opening ceremony, and is put back on base again. Still not back in the military, but working as a consultant on base for this project. Brian lands. He sees an old friend, Fingers, and then his ex-girlfriend, Tracy. He then meets the captain, Captain Ng, who will be shadowing him and essentially babysitting him while he's on base.
Played by Emma Stone. She gives solid golden retriever energy when we meet her.
She has crazy eyes and solid golden retriever energy, absolutely. She is his liaison while on base. Tracy, his ex-girlfriend, shows up and starts talking to him, and clearly there are definitely things left unsaid between them.
Hey! I refuse to talk to you.
Well, you just broke that promise.
Are you okay?
So good. Super, super good.
Woody never told me you were coming. He never tells me anything.
Sir, if I may?
Talk to me.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's because you're not married to him. Hey, I called you 5 times last year. I was worried about you.
You still in forensics?
Would you believe I'm head of the department? I make my own
You
hours.
stop getting more beautiful. An awkward silence lasts 4 seconds. I'm gonna end this in 3.
Sir.
And it turns out Woody, played by John Krasinski, is Tracy's husband. He's a pilot as well.
So, Sarah, big lover of John Krasinski.
I am. Huge crush.
Who is our favorite John Krasinski? And I'm going to give you 4 options.
I can tell you right now.
I'm going to give you 4 options.
Okay.
There is early years, The Office, so like seasons 1 to 3.
Okay.
Seasons 3 on of The Office.
Okay.
This John Krasinski or Jack Ryan. John.
Jack Ryan.
Okay. Wow.
Jack
Right,
Ryan, I can tell you right now, I love the spy aspect of it all, and it makes him like 100 times more attractive.
Wow. Okay. So John Krasinski selling paper, not attractive.
No, hey, I mean, I could watch him watch paint dry. I could watch him watch paint dry. You know, like
wow, that's a new level.
That would be appropriate for me.
You're not even watching the paint dry. We're watching him watch the paint dry. I guess that could be more interesting than watching paint dry. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's probably my favorite John, because I like he had like a little bit of a baby face in The Office, but like he's in the Jack Ryan, you know, he's matured.
Yeah.
He looks very nice.
He does, yeah. And in this, he looks very nice. And I think at the end of this scene, we get...
I actually like him in his uniform. In this movie.
Come on. They did that on purpose. Who doesn't like a tall John Krasinski in a flight suit? Like,
I do.
That's clearly going to work.
Totally.
But we do see... Woody is his name, that his character. We see him with Tracy and their family... And he's returned home, and he's, you know, kisses his daughter on the forehead and is chatting with his son. And I do think we get a sense as the audience, Brian Gilchrist, there's something missing in his life, and Woody has found what he's missing.
Yes.
You know, like Woody has the thing that Brian probably subconsciously is yearning for. Woody's got it all. He still works for the military. He's living in Hawaii. He's got the wife. He's got the kids. He's got the family. He's kind of got it all, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Allison Ng brings Brian to his hotel. She also has a room in the hotel beside him. She wants to get a drink, but he declines and goes into his room. They're sharing, like I said, rooms beside each other. He he overhears Allison on a call with her mother. I guess it's on a frequency of some sort that he can overhear her talking. And it's all about him, basically about how he is a total, like...
But before that all came apart, there was greatness in this guy.
Oh, now you're gonna compliment me?
He's got kind of like a chilly presence. Like you look into his eyes and it's miles of blue. He's just a brilliant, compelling, innovative, commanding...
Stop it.
Freaking wreck of a guy.
Yeah.
He's like a sad city coyote.
So the next day, she's all about being his bestie, sucking up to him, and then he starts howling, and she realizes he overheard her, deeply embarrassed about it. They try to get to one of the island communities, but they can't get there, so they take a trail through the jungle, and at first glance, when they get there, they aren't welcomed until Brian speaks with the king, and... but the king won't budge on providing a blessing for the ceremony that's in a few days. They eat in the community, and then Brian tries to negotiate. But again, the king says no. Brian says the military can give them 14 more kilometers of land. He won't do it until he gets 2 mountains and cell phone service, and that is what is agreed upon when they leave. The next night, Brian goes over to Tracy and Woody's house for dinner. The Captain Ing goes over as well, which I feel like, why do you need to go over there? I don't really know. Like, yes, you're his babysitter. I totally get that. But like, you also weren't invited. How did the invitation reach you?
Oh, you don't like that Emma Stone was there?
Like, I just don't understand why she would be there. But it's funny that she was there. Like, why?
She's got to watch him. She's got to shadow him. So if he goes to an awkward dinner with his ex-girlfriend, she's got to follow along, I guess.
Like, that was a weird... Again, there are pieces of this movie that are just, like, there, and they just happen, and you're like, okay, like, Woody doesn't speak through the whole movie, essentially. Like, yeah. John Krasinski's character maybe has, like, I don't know, 10 sentences in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Half of them are unspoken.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It's just such a bizarre aspect to the movie. It is my best scene at the end, but...
Oh, that's your best scene?
Yes.
Interesting.
But it was just such a funny, like, interesting take to the movie. Again, Allison Ing joining this family close dinner. Yeah, weird.
I do agree, like, the Woody John Krasinski thing, like, he never talks, is something you could have explained in dialogue. Like, Tracy is... in this scene divulging all these feelings to Brian and, you know, rehashing why they weren't working out. But she could have just said, like, Woody never talks to me. He doesn't talk about my feelings. Instead, like, we had to really let the audience know, like, he doesn't talk so much that you're never going to see him talk. We're like, really? Is that what we're doing?
And at one point they have subtitles.
Yeah, at one point near the end there's subtitles.
Anyway, it's just a little bizarre. The kids can totally tell that their mom, Tracy, has a little bit more pep in her step with Brian there.
Yep.
He finds an old photo of Tracy and realizes that it's one that he's actually in, and then it's been folded over, and goes back into the room and grabs a beer. And you can tell that there is still something between them, and that it's not resolved. And I think Tracy would genuinely leave Woody if the cards were on the table. She realizes that she doesn't have everything she wants with Woody. We find out that they broke up because he didn't show up for their vacation, and Brian felt that it was an ultimatum. She tells him that they really needed to talk and that they had a lot to go through. She tells him that she really did love him. Woody comes in to the kitchen, doesn't say a word, but comes up to Brian, grabs his shoulder, and says everything without saying a word. Just his body language tells Brian everything he needs to know. And Tracy he says a lot without actually saying anything, and basically says, yeah, you missed out. I got her. Welcome to my home.
And I did get that for great acting from John Krasinski, because I did.
Me too.
I did get that, like, the gist of what he was getting at.
Yeah. Later on, they go to a holiday party that same night, and something seems to be up.
My best scene.
So there's a few people that Brian interacts with throughout this movie that are old friends or old consulting buddies, and you can just kind of tell from the room that there's something else more to this satellite than what meets the eye.
Well, so are you talking about us meeting Alec Baldwin here?
Alec Baldwin.
We meet Alec Baldwin outside of the officers club, and that's where the thing's happening. Actually, you know what? Why don't we play a game real quick?
Okay.
Because now I think we've introduced every main character in our movie. We have Danny McBride. Don't forget about him.
Yeah.
But like Emma Stone, Bradley Cooper, John Krasinski, Rachel McAdams, Bill Murray, Alec Baldwin. This is a stacked
like
cast.
I said, huge cast, massive.
Sarah, I've got a question for you, and I'm not talking about because we normally do like who's had the best movies, and it's very hard to pin down who's had the best career. I want to ask you, this group of talent has many accolades. Who do you think has the best awards resume? Because some of these people have gone on to do amazing things. Some of these people had already done amazing things as of this movie coming out. Who would you say is your number one?
I think Emma Stone is the only one with a Academy Award, no?
Is that your final answer?
No.
You putting Emma Stone on the board at number one?
So are we talking like overall awards for the whole career?
I'm talking no. I'm talking what you're talking, like highlights. Give me like how many Academy Awards, Golden Globes.
Emma Stone.
Okay, I think Emma Stone is a 2.
Oh, okay.
To Bradley Cooper's number 1. I think.
Interesting.
Emma Stone has 2 Academy Awards.
Okay.
2 British Academy Film Awards, 2 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And she was Time Magazine. She was the highest paid actress in 2017, and was on the 100 most influential people in the world. And now the tail of the tape for Bradley Cooper. He also won a BAFTA. He won 2 Grammy Awards.
What? Oh, yes.
A Star is
oh my
Born,
God.
right?
I was
He's gonna have
why
one
would
for that
he
for
win
sure.
a Grammy?
Yeah. He's been nominated for 12 Academy Awards. I don't think he's ever won.
No.
Right?
She's the only one.
6 Golden Globe Awards, and he has a Tony Award. And he was Time's list of 100 most influential people in the world back in 2015.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're talking just Academy Awards, she's got 2.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of nominations, but no win.
A lot of noms, yeah.
Now I'm going to give you Alec Baldwin. He has a nomination for an Academy Award, a BAFTA, and a Tony. He's got 3 Golden Globes.
Oh.
And he has 3 Primetime Emmy Awards. 30 Rock.
Yes, I was going to say.
Is probably the show that...
Probably.
Or maybe his Donald Trump impressions on SNL. I don't know if they just give those for one-offs.
Interesting.
Bill Murray, however...
Okay, that was going to be my other one. Bill Murray was going to be my other top.
He's also got a lot. He's got a BAFTA award. He's got 2 Emmys. He has a Golden Globe.
Okay, so she's not the only one. Okay, got it.
Well,
the Academy,
he still
though.
doesn't have an Academy Award, though.
Right.
He has a nomination
nominated.
for Lost in Translation, but he never won.
Interesting.
And John Krasinski also does not have an Academy Award.
Yeah, so she's the only
winner.
Academy Award winner.
And
2.
And you are yelling at your pod saying, what about Rachel McAdams? Yes.
Yes.
She also has a nomination for an Academy Award. Mm-hmm. Screen Actors Guild Award, a Critics' Choice Awards. She has, funny enough, not been the most awarded person.
Which is amazing to me because I think she's a phenomenal actor.
She's so good.
So good.
Yeah. So you're probably right. It's Emma Stone, and then a close second is Bradley Cooper. Which is, I find it fascinating because all of this would have happened after this movie came out in 2015, right?
Probably.
Because A Star is Born was 2018, La La Land was around the same time, like just a couple years later.
Yeah, definitely. That's very cool. Thank you for that highlight.
You're welcome for sharing. And then we've got my best scene is just the zaniness of this party. So we have, Tracy's in there with Woody. Allison and Gilchrist are also there. They're grabbing beverages and whatever. And there's like a little secret meeting that happens with Bill Murray's character and Bradley Cooper's character in the hallway. And he gives him like a little flash drive and he's like, you're the only one who knows this. It's stuff about the satellite, kind of what you were alluding to, Sarah. But my favorite thing about this scene is after that, everybody's in this room, all of these high-powered actors, and we get a scene where it's Bill Murray and Emma Stone dancing, like having a mini dance off.
Hilarious.
Rachel McAdams is in the corner with John Krasinski still. Bradley Cooper's kind of just watching from the bar. Like it's almost like a fever dream. I'm like, is this happening?
Yes.
Like all this is happening.
And the
we're getting a
music
Bill Murray
playing.
dance off right now.
Yeah. I mean, like if Bill Murray was like, hey, let's get to the dance floor, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, let's go dance.
It's a very Bill Murray thing to happen, but
Yes.
it feels weird in this movie. It's like, okay, we're doing this now. Interesting.
Well, and I think the only reason why they really did this part of the scene was because earlier on in the movie, they had prefaced the fact that she used to dance.
Right, yeah.
But how did he know that she used to be such, like, he goes up to her and goes, I hear you have great dancing skills. Like, how would he know that?
Yeah, they do talk about how she's kind of like a hot shot, like an up-and-comer in the military there in Hawaii, but I have no idea. Yeah,
right? Like, there's just some funny things that kind of just happen, and they just happen.
I also, the scene right before that, before Gilchrist goes into the hallway, he has an interaction with Alec Baldwin's character. And Baldwin's character goes up to the DJ. Oh, I forgot the best part of my best scene. All this is happening, and Danny frickin' McBride is the DJ, and you're just like, what is going on?
Oh my God, that's
He's wearing like a Santa hat, and you're like, this is strange. Alec Baldwin's character is like, hey, turn on
so good.
Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which I think like in 50 years, we're still going to be playing this song because I think it's still continued to be so relevant. And this scene, I think that was a really cool, like, song to have in this scene because we're about to have an interaction in the hallway. Clearly, Bill Murray's character, Welch, is kind of like an Elon Musk type.
The villain.
He's the villain, but he's very suave, and a lot of people are illusioned by the fact that he's the villain, maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got the general over here playing Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Like, it feels very...
He's dangling a carrot in front of them, and all they want is what he can give them.
Yes, yeah. Very, very fascinating song to be played there, and it's been used a lot in pop culture lately, too, which I like.
I do love when a song can play what is... like,
exactly happening.
Exactly. Without actually having... to, there's Woody who doesn't talk in this movie, and then there's this song that says so much by just playing it at this point in time and in the movie.
Totally.
Yeah. So later on that evening, Allison comes over to Brian's hotel room. They talk about the sky and everything, and then they end up sleeping together.
Bang!
Captain Ng, or Allison, goes over to Tracy and Woody's house to thank them and sees what their son had been filming in the middle of the night, and goes to resign to her superior and is told that the whole thing is being run by private money Global One company. She asks how much Brian knows, and Finger says he probably knows enough, which really disappoints her. The next day, she meets for lunch with Brian, and Brian's totally like, I'm all in. I bought you this cute hat. Explains what it, like, that he wants to be a couple with her, that he is just like a goner. Then she says that she knows what he knows, and he still doesn't get it. Then he finally gets it. They argue, saying that he lied to the Hawaiians and that he is a lost individual.
And back to my best scene, like including the hallway scene with Welch and Brian. Welch does reveal something that I think speaks a lot to Brian's character, in that in his previous role with Welch, he was skimming money off of a deal with people from Afghanistan. So we do get a sense from his character that maybe he's morally
gray,
ambiguous. Exactly. And this kind of speaks to that, I mean, granted, he just learned this knowledge that something shady is going on with the satellite, but still, it speaks a lot to his character that the ends justify the means, I think. And Allison's not down for that.
Back at Tracy and Woody's, Woody gets home. There's distance between him and Tracy. He blames it on Gilchrist, but Tracy says, we had problems before Gilchrist even came back. You don't want to talk to me. He tells Tracy that he's going to leave. He leaves and starts trashing Santa in his front lawn. Tracy and her daughter, Gracie, I know, they go see Brian. She wants to talk to him about stuff, and she says, we have to talk. We have to clear the air with certain things that we didn't get to talk about 13 years ago. And he said, I think it's probably something that I already know. And she says, well, just say it, because I've been keeping this secret for 13 years. And he says, let me put it this way. It's Father's Day. Do I celebrate or not? And she says, you celebrate.
What a reveal.
And we find out that he is the father of Gracie, and that she's been the only one to know for the past 13 years. And she also tells him that Woody left. I don't know. You just kind of read the room, and then she just leaves. You just like drop this bomb. Woody left, and you leave. Like, it was just kind of like, are you going to wait to see what he says? Or like, is he interested? Maybe not. Do you want him to be interested? Maybe not anymore. Maybe you've, I don't know.
I think she had let go of him, but that
yeah.
that thing of like, but he's the father of my daughter
Yes.
has been, and I think that's all she wanted to do. Like, I
Yeah.
just want to tell you this. And that's massive.
You kind of get some foreshadowing at the beginning of the movie. I don't know if you caught this, but in their very initial conversation in the kitchen when they're arguing about why he didn't show up to the vacation,
Yes.
she does say, we had things we needed to talk about.
Oh. Oh, I was talking about a different line.
No. She says, you know, I loved you so much. And she said, I wanted to go with you. We had things we needed to talk about.
See, there was
I had something to tell you is what she said.
There was a different line that I caught as well where Brian is, talking about Tracy's kids, and he's like, wow, Grace is just so beautiful. And she says, luckily she got my looks. And I took it as like, that would be a weird dig against Woody, her husband. So like, it's a weird thing to say to somebody. John Krasinski's a good looking guy, so we can only assume like that's a jab at her real father, Mr. Gilchrist. Anyway.
Ooh. So we go to the gate blessing. Brian and Allison get called away quickly because the rocket has to be launched imminently because there is a hack coming in from China and they need to make sure that the hack doesn't go through and that they launch it before the data is corrupt. Brian realizes that he can't live with him doing this by launching this satellite into the air knowing that there are weapons on board, destroys the satellite with sound. Would the cacophony of sound have video in it too? Like, that's what I think is hilarious is when they're when they release this sound from this other satellite that's up there, it's supposed to interact with this Brave Angel satellite that they've put up there with weapons, et cetera, et cetera. And it's supposed to basically blow up the satellite with all of this sound, every piece of sound at every single frequency ever known to man, all at once. But the funny part, in order to show that happening, they also show all of the videos that are attributed to the sound.
Yeah.
And it's a cacophony of sound, but it's just, you also get the video. You'd never get the sound and see the videos. They're not one and the same.
Also, another thing that just bugged me a little bit about this, and you know what, like I said, nits to pick about this movie. I actually really love this movie, but as soon as I saw that, my first thought was, everybody knows sound doesn't travel in space, guys. That has been proven time after time. It's the vibration of atoms in the air, in the atmosphere. So there's, like, assuming that satellite has reached orbit, and now he's hitting it with this sound thing that I developed. Sound doesn't travel in space, though.
Yeah.
I'm not a smart guy, okay, RCR fam. I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
But this is stuff you can easily Google. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that scene was very funny, but I know that they needed to show, a movie what was happening, and that was the best way that they could, but it's just something that caught my eye again, and I was like, I don't think that's a real thing. But the satellite explodes and he leaves and tells Allison that it's over between the two of them. He is going to be, a toxic person, and he can't be tied to her, or sorry, he can't be tied to her because it will ruin his career.
Ruin her career.
Ruin her career, sorry. So Carson, the villain in all this, who owns the rocket, meets Brian Gilchrist at his hotel and basically says he's not going to get away with this. Gilchrist meets with the general afterwards and starts getting yelled at, and he tells the general, like, this was bigger than you think it was. There were weapons on this satellite, but the general doesn't believe him because, again, that carrot dangling in front of them, they were going to get a new base. They were going to get all these new things with Carson's money.
Alec Baldwin, a great infuriated actor. Like when he's really angry and just flying off the handle, he's very compelling. Great scene with him just
going off the rails.
Yeah, losing his mind.
Yeah.
General always speaks first. Don't say a word. You let him say what he has to say. You sit there, you take it. Hopefully the holiday spirit will have him in a good mood.
Happy New Year's, General.
We're at,
Happy New Year.
and the general is here.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, I remember the good times.
There were no good times.
Gilchrist goes over to Tracy's and she says, you did something to impress a girl, didn't you? And he says, yes, but I didn't get the girl. I let her go. Turns out that Woody in this instance, Tracy shares with Gilchrist that Woody wrote Tracy a letter. And oh my gosh, this was a little bit of a weep warning. A little bit.
We got a weep warning in this movie.
Yes, because I love Rachel McAdams and I love John Krasinski. He says,
I just hated the way you changed when Gilchrist came back to town. But I don't like to hate. It's bad for my brain. Every night when I come home, I start fresh. I don't bring what happens up there down here. I may not be the original owner of your heart, but I am the better owner and a much healthier option too.
I may not be the original owner of your heart. Oh, so sweet.
So sweet, so real, so and I think that's such a relatable moment because I feel like everybody has a first love, a fling that just kind of flames out, whatever. And I think that's a very relatable kind of thing to have in this movie of, there's Gilchrist over here who, at the time was not the right choice for her, even though she loved him. Woody is absolutely the right owner of her heart.
The better owner.
Yes.
Yeah. Tracy tells Brian to go and find Allison Ng, that she lit up his sky. Woody gets home and Gilchrist is there. This is my best scene. And he tells him without any words that he knows that he's Gracie's father. That gives him a big hug and that he wants his family back. Woody unspokenly asks Gilchrist if he slept with his wife. Brian tells him no, he slept with Ng. Again, massive hug. Gilchrist goes to the bar to see the general again and some of his military buddies and says, oh my gosh, Gilchrist, you were right. There were weapons on the satellite.
Wow, what do you know?
We know.
You were doing the right thing.
Yes, but because of his reputation, nobody took him seriously. Gilchrist goes to find Allison and he says,
I want to know what you were like growing up. What was your favorite pair of shoes? What was your favorite cereal? What was the first car you ever drove? I mean, I'm just getting started here. I want to know everything about you.
Why are you still here?
Wherever you're flying, come back. I'll be waiting for you.
Words. It's a lot more than 5, Gilchrist.
I love you, Allison.
You're heading out on another adventure. I will be here when you get back, and I love you. So he tells her.
He says, I love you.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, haven't really talked about the charm of Emma Stone throughout this movie, but I just want to make sure before we move on to other things, what a charming, lovely actress. I love everything of Emma Stone, and even this character is kind of quirky, kind of like a little golden retriever energy.
She gets better at the end of the movie. Oh, I think she grows as a person as well throughout the movie in the 4 days that this spans. Golden retriever to I don't know, a trained golden retriever.
See, I loved her as the golden retriever untrained. I thought she was brilliant, and by the end of this, I think she's just she's great.
I love how this movie ends, though. I like that. Yes, he has I think fulfilled what he is looking for in life. So finding Allison Ng, but also finding and coming to terms with that he is also a father. So it ends with him going to see Gracie's hula class and Gracie realizing in that moment that he is her dad. She starts crying happy tears and she runs out to hug him, and that is how it ends.
You liked how this ended?
I did. You didn't?
I
think it was like him fulfilling all aspects of things missing in his life on all levels, and that yes, this is a rom-com, but also it fulfilled him in the family aspect as well by finding his daughter.
I just felt like if I'm Gracie, maybe I have a different reaction to learning that everybody has lied to me my whole life.
Correct.
And I have a different father who's this man named Brian who just showed up today, and I'm a 13-year-old girl. I'm going through a lot of emotions, and this man's just standing at a window while I'm dancing, and that's my father, and I'm just learning right now.
I was not saying it was accurate. I was not saying it was an accurate description of what actually would happen. I was saying
Hollywood.
But for Hollywood, with the way they've already written this movie, it kind of went with what was plodding along.
Yeah, you're right. She ran out, and I'm like, oh, is she going to confront him? No. cries, hugs him, goes back to dancing, happy tears. I'm like, I feel like it would actually be a little different in real life, but okay.
I think she too, though, felt that there was something missing. But yeah, like I think, and actually another note, they never really truly addressed all of the footage that the little boy took throughout this movie.
That's a great point, Sarah.
Right? Like he is definitely not allowed into those buildings, and the footage that he takes is highly confidential.
But
yeah,
great plot hole, Sarah, because when Gilchrist was like, oh, my life's over, it's like, well, just grab the footage from the kid. It's all on there.
Yeah. Yeah, just like funny things, right? Like, it's like, why have this kid take video of it when it's not going to be addressed further than Allison finding it?
Yeah, wouldn't Allison bring that up the chain? You're right.
Yeah, anyway, just like interesting things.
Quick facts?
Among the massive trove of leaked emails that were released in 2014 after Sony's computer systems were hacked were some that revealed that Sony executives were extremely critical of this movie's quality and pessimistic about its box office prospects long before it was filmed or released. In one of the emails, Amy Pascal, the co-chair of Sony Pictures Entertainment, wrote that many aspects of this movie's characters and plot made no sense. I'm never starting a movie again when the script is ridiculous, and we all know it. I don't care how much I love the director or the actors. It never, not once, ever works. As much as I want movies to release, this is way worse. At least the marketing departments at both studios have something to sell that looks big and glossy. We have this movie in for a lot of dough, and we better look at that. Scott Rudin didn't once go to set or help us in the editing room or fix the script.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember when the Sony leaks happened? Like, so much stuff like that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, she's not wrong is the thing. Like, that's a tough email to get out to public, but like, it made $26 million on a budget of 37. And she's right. You have all these big names. You have Cameron Crowe, a massive director. But, like, there's some things in this film that, like she said, doesn't necessarily make sense.
Bumpy, who is the king, is the Hawaiian nationalist leader and titular head of state of the group Nations of Hawaii in real life. Ben Stiller and Reese Witherspoon were both attached to star in this movie, but left due to scheduling conflicts. Cameron Crowe then spent 4 years rewriting the script, making the characters younger. A quote from Dr. Peter Venkman, Bill Murray's character from Ghostbusters from 1984, "Let's show this prehistoric bee how we do things downtown," can be heard during the audio montage from the satellite.
Oh, that's funny.
On June 2nd, 2015, director Cameron Crowe apologized in a piece written for his blog, The Uncool, for what he described as an odd or misguided casting choice, having Emma Stone playing a character whose father is half Chinese and half Hawaiian. He took full responsibility for the presentation of the character after the film caused controversy and criticism for presenting a whitewashed version of Hawaii and its residents. In early 2012, Ellen DeGeneres bumped into Emma Stone before she had officially met her and Cameron Crowe at a restaurant and said, "Whatever you two do, it'll be great." At the Christmas party in the movie, some of the Air Force personnel can be seen playing a game of Crud, C-R-U-D, on the pool table, a game often played by both Canadian and American military personnel, where two teams throw the balls by hand at a target ball. One of the songs playing during the satellite sequence is the theme from Stripes from 1981. Rachel McAdams previously auditioned for a role in Cameron Crowe's previous feature, We Bought a Zoo from 2011. This reunites Bradley Cooper with Rachel McAdams after Wedding Crashers, and it also reunites Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper after the Rocket from 2008. This is Alec Baldwin's second time to be in a Crowe film after Elizabethtown came out in 2005. Early on, Bradley Cooper tells Emma Stone an anecdote involving comic books. Both have played in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bradley Cooper played Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and Emma Stone plays Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014. This is the third time Emma Stone has been in a film with one of the stars of The Office. She previously appeared in Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell and The Rocker in 2008 with Rainn Wilson, and then this movie, of course, with
Jim Halpert.
Yes. Emma Stone's character was originally called Lisa.
Honorable mentions.
God, this is the second movie I'm going to say the cast. But I don't know. You know what? It's funny because I haven't seen Bill Murray in a movie in a really, really, really long time. His character as the villain was fun. You're going to say Emma Stone, but I mean, do I like John Krasinski's ability to say nothing and get the points across? Kind of.
I'm not going to say Emma Stone. Come on. An honorable mention can't be the star of the movie. The honorable mention this time around is the setting of Hawaii, which was such a big part of the premise of the story. So many of our plot lines go through the fact that this is Hawaii and our characters are Hawaiian. So I have for you, Sarah, I want the ranking of best movies, either filmed or based in Hawaii.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to give you like let's say like a top 7, and you hit me with like your 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Because we got some biggies.
Okay.
Some biggies out of nowhere. Let's put this one on the list.
Yep.
But let's also say, hey, Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
that's
set in Hawaii.
Yep.
Just go with it. Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, set in Hawaii.
Adam Sandler.
Soul Surfer, I know you love it.
Oh.
Set in Hawaii, obviously.
Soul Surfer?
Yeah.
Who's that with?
Anna Sophia Robb.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's the one where she, I mean, this is going to be tough, but like I'm pretty sure she gets her arm bitten off by a shark.
Oh, yes, I've never seen it.
Oh, wow, I thought you loved that one for some reason.
Blue Crush.
Okay. Wait, hey, stop reading what I'm reading.
But that's what the movie I love is. I love Blue Crush.
Just reading my notes here. 50 First Dates.
Oh, another Adam Sandler movie.
Like a huge Adam Sandler movie. We're ignoring like the Pearl Harbors and stuff like that. So I'll also put The Descendants with George Clooney on there, but I don't know if you've seen that one. No, okay. Let's put it on the list because that's a good one. Finding Ohana as well is pretty good. Give me your top 3 though.
Okay. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 50 First Dates, and Blue Crush. I like it because they show a lot more of Hawaii than some other movies, right? You see a lot of the base in Aloha.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
But you don't see there's certain pieces to the movie that you get to see a little bit more of Hawaii at the island.
I like that. I like it a lot. What should have been? I think like for my what should have been, we've discussed the situation with some of the characters and how they were cast, so I don't feel the need to go over it again, but that would be my what should have been. Either change the background of the characters or alter who you're casting. That's it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. I'm not going to say the same. Like, I do wholeheartedly agree with that. I think either have John Krasinski talk or don't. I don't know. Like, pick one, you know?
Oh my gosh.
I just, like...
That's a funny one.
You know? Like, you didn't need subtitles. Just have him have dialogue. Like, give him a few lines. He's fully capable.
Oh, man. He's great. He's great. You
like,
give him lines, he'll do it.
They prepped him for that movie that you can't talk because the aliens will get you. Or the monsters will get you.
Oh, A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place. They prepped him for that with this movie.
You know,
that he wrote.
I just realized you made a mistake in your quick facts.
Oh.
Because you talked about all the characters who have been in the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Did you say Rachel McAdams?
No.
No, because she's in Doctor Strange.
She is. But I was talking about how there's a conversation that occurs where there's an anecdote that Bradley Cooper has, or I should say Gilchrist has with in this movie, and that ties that they've been in it. But if we're talking grand scheme of things, yes, you're correct. Rachel McAdams is in
Doctor Strange.
Multi-universe. Yeah.
So is John Krasinski.
What does he play?
He is Mr. Incredible, right?
Oh,
or Mr. Fantastic, sorry.
right.
Mr. Incredible. It's not Pixar. He's Mr. Fantastic. He is Reed, the leader of...
That's right. The Fantastic Four.
Look at that. He turns into Swiss cheese in front of Scarlet Witch, but, you know, we're getting off on a tangent of Marvel stuff. Rewatchability.
So my rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry 3.9, storyline 2, thirst factor 4.7, imagination 2.75, soundtrack 4, cheese 3 for an overall score of 3.39 out of 5.
Okay, I've got a slightly similar I've got slightly similar scores. I've got chemistry a little bit lower than you, a 3.35 for chemistry. Storyline 2.95, thirst factor 4.79. I totally agree. The thirst factor across this movie is fantastic. I did have the imagination a little higher than you, 3.44. I feel like it is a fairly unique movie. Yeah, I feel that way. 4.25 for soundtrack. Amazing soundtrack on this. And a cheese 3.15. So I feel like I was just a little bit higher than you on everything, which makes sense because my overall score is a 3 point. Hold on, I lost it real quick. 3.65 out of 5. This has been the Rom-Com Rewind of Aloha. Wherever you're listening to us, throw us a follow. Make sure if you've heard anything on the pod that you want to talk more about, absolutely. Sarah responds to 100% of our DMs on Instagram at Rom-Com Rewind.
Thanks for listening.